Imagine studying tirelessly for HIS 2025, only to find out the surefire topics you focused on are never going to appear. Don't fall victim to misleading information. This video will unveil the common misconceptions surrounding the History 2025 exam, helping you navigate your studies smarter, not harder.
We made for whatsoever, and tactona impact is positive. And furthermore, crop cultivation originated, and crop cultivation was witnessed even to states like Mapungubwe. Anditika urikuona zvandikuita ndirikuita ndichinyora ma-examples ema-states aya kuti examine azvizive kuti ndiri kuziva kuti chii chinonzi early iron age shona communities. So at Mapungubwe, crop cultivation was practiced, and even this even supplemented their diet. And for they could grow millet, sorghum, and rapoko, and this have made their society to be impacted in terms of population growth by extincted. Certain trees extincted. Why? Because when iron came, it was now too easy for them to expropriate those resources. Kana chiti expropriate kurati zvakava easy kuti, for example, kana une demo unoraya chinhu unotema muti waunoda unopedzisira tisisina. Also there was a pollution. So how iron improved the economic setup of the early Iron Age society. So you say, taking consideration of the impact of iron economically, for instance, at Great Zimbabwe, pastoralism was practiced, and it was one of the major economic elements which even improved examine the impact of the use of iron on the economic activities of the early Iron Age Shona community. Right. So our question here reads, examine the impact of the use of iron on the economic activities of the early Iron Age Shona community. So in this equation, our major key term here is examine the impact where iron on the economic activities of early Iron Age society. So our key terms are examining the impact of the economic activities of the early Iron Age Shona community. So when we are talking about the term impact, when we are revealing impact in history, we are talking about the positive and negative impact. So the term examine, it means we are exploring the positive and the negative impact, which means we are revealing how positive and how negative was the use of iron in the economic activities of the early Iron Age society. So many students concerning this question, they tend to go far beyond and start to analyze the political and the social and whatsoever. Are we together? So when we are dealing with the question which is if these key terms such as examine, you do not go out of bounds. What is going out of bounds? Out of bounds, kuenda. Unoti wewe question apa yat examine the impact of the use of iron on the economic activities. Trikuda kubuditsa zvakanakira iron kuma economic activities ema early Shona activities ne zvakashatira iron kuma economic activities. Apa patode kunyorwa political ne-social. Hatinei nazvo nekuti hazvisiri izvo zvataita se key term yati examine the impact of the use of iron on the economic activities. zvimwe zvese hazvisina basa. So which states, I mean, were known as early Iron Age Shona communities? The early Iron Age Shona communities, these were communities that that existed prior or soon after the introduction of iron. For example, Great Zimbabwe, Mapungu, Bweziwa, Maveni, Tsindi, and whatsoever. Those are early Iron Age Shona communities. We are going to explore those communities as examples, initiating the positive impact of iron economically. So in this case now, good candidates are expected to review the positive and the negative impact of iron on these Shona communities which I've mentioned earlier. So we've got the positive and the negative impact. In this case, we are only focusing on economic activities. Saka tiri ipapo takuya pama positive economic. Tine nyaya ye pastoralism yakauya, tine nyaya crop cultivation. Tine nyaya trade. Tine blacksmithing. Chimwe chatinacho gumi efficient. What efficient is it? Hunting. What else? Mining. What else? Chichum. Sabere. Tribute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 points. At least we get a 6, 4. 5, 4, 7, 3. And per ratio yako. At least according to ZIMSEC. Okay, nyora 10 well-constructed paragraph, 10 well-constructed points. Then on negative, we've got issues such as this economically. Raiding yakashata. We explain out how. Chichum. Tinesu zvakaita sana land degradation zvavaita. What else should? Extinction of species. Sana pollution. Zvakawandisa tipedzi. Right. So in your introduction, we are going to introduce facts, or we are going to evaluate or to initiate how iron proved to be one of the basics economic, how iron improved the economic setup of the early Iron Age society. So you say, taking consideration of the impact of iron economically, for instance, at Great Zimbabwe, pastoralism was practiced, and it was one of the major economic elements which even improved the diet of the Great Zimbabwe inhabitants. And through pastoralism, they managed even to trade with external sites, with several individuals, for they could exchange cattle maybe for cloth, cattle made for whatsoever. And Takwana impact is positive. Furthermore, crop cultivation originated, and crop cultivation was witnessed even to states like Mapungu. Anditika urikuona zvandikuita ndirikuita ndichinyora ma-examples ema-states ayekuti examine azvizive kuti ndiri kuziva kuti chii chinonzi early Iron Age Shona communities. So at Mapungubwe, crop cultivation was practiced, and even this even supplemented their diet. And for they could grow millet, sorghum, and rapoko, and this have made their society to be impacted in terms of population growth by availability of food. Furthermore, trade was practiced both internal and external. At Great Zimbabwe, they even traded with the Swahili traders, and they gained ceramics, as witnessed by archaeologist excavations according to DNB. Furthermore, blacksmithing was one of the prominent specialized job which originated during this period, and many individuals, they started to have a good social class because of it. And through blacksmithing, iron tools were manufactured, and these tools benefited the inhabitants. Furthermore, efficient hunting was practiced, whereby now people could kill a large game for their own benefit, for sustenance, and on their daily life. Furthermore, mining was, they started to now mining gold, iron, and whatsoever, and these minerals, they were used for trade and other purposes. Tribute payment improved the wealth of the king. However, despite the impact of iron economically in these early Iron Age Shona communities, we have got some certain defects which can evaluated. For example, raiding was practiced whereby the weaker states, they were now being under the jurisdiction of Maui because of raiding. Furthermore, there was a land degradation through nomadism. As people, they were moving from one place to another, as they were practicing shifting cultivation because they had got tools. Furthermore, there was the extinction of species. Certain animals, they extincted, certain trees extincted. Why? Because when iron came, it was now too easy for them to expropriate those resources. Kana chiti expropriate kurati zvakava easy kuti, for example, kana une demo unoraya chinhu unotema muti waunoda unopedzisira tisisina. Also, there was a pollution yaitika. Saka this is it. Saka vamwe venyu vainyora isei vachitiza bhendi repaeconomic. Kana wanzi impact of the use of iron in the economic, hatitize, hatina need yekunyora political, hatina need yekunyora social, tiri kufocusa nezvatabvunzwa. Ndosaka ndakati kana question ikati examine, hatibude mubhendi, assess, evaluate. How far true is the statement that iron had a positive impact? Zvese mufanira kuziva kuti apa ndiri kuataka questions. Saka ndikudza kuti izvezvi nguva yatiri, chakakosha kuziva mubvunzo. Unogona kuswera kuverenga airline age ugotoziva kuti positive pakadai handika, but question oya so unotadza kuziva kuti question inohandlwa sei, ende unongofoira zvakadaro. Ndosaka uchinzwa vanhu izvezvi vanoya chiti toda kujoina malessons, toda gala, ndodzati hatina chatichataura, because kana wanga wabva kwese kusina data, usingazive how to express your points, how to evaluate maise anonyorwa sei, kupapata zvinodhaka. Because pane pamwe pekuti munoita gala, nditi munhu oenda unonyora isei ine introduction yehalf yepage, handika oenda unonyora maparagraph ane 15 maline, munhu mapedza naye gala ipapa achinareta achidescribe. ZIMSEC inongosvika yongocheka, uchaona kuti wasvinurira mahara. Chakakosha kuziva ma-implements, zvinodiwa, handika chii chinombodiwa kuZIMSEC kuti tipase, ndozvawafokasa nazvo. Zvemanotsi takatodarika kudhara, isisiri nguva yekunzi tingafokasa. Chatakuda kufokasa nekuti question inombonyorwa sei, kuti iwe uzosvika pakunzi waita A pa A level, what really matters. But vanhu hamuzvizive, unosvinura udaiso mahara, unodaiso wapedza wanyora waita 2 points, wanyora waita 4 points, waita 0 points, waita F rako. Why? Hausi kuziva kuti how to address, how to attack the question. And izvozvo hazvidiwe. Saka nguva ino yatiri, focus on these questions, right? Kana mune mubvunzo mobvunza, todaita